when you go to a party, come on, you got to find someone that can put a few $100s on an opposing side or whatever unit you like choosing.
I'm Tim Kittro. This is not NBA Jam. I repeat, not NBA Jam. This is a paid-for introduction for Big Rye and the Fat Guy. Yeah, you can just make it out to cash. Thanks. And are those my smokes over there? I'll take them anyway.
Man, I'm just trying to work under the bridge, and that overpass was so busy on Saturday. What's up, YouTube? The NFL pick against the spread for Super Bowl 56. Fat Guy, we are 2 games below 500 for this season, 2-0 for the conference round, which was super nice. If we manage to get this pick right for the Super Bowl, we will be positive for the playoffs. And on to Super Bowl 56. It's going to be pretty much 2 weeks from now, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time start. The LA Rams take on the Cincinnati Bengals. Of course, this being in SoFi, the Rams get some pseudo home field advantage in some way, and they are 4-point favorites for this game. They've received 45% of early bets. So far, there's been 11,600 bets on the site that we use to track this information. And we're probably going to see over 200,000 bets, I'm guessing, for this game. So we're still only seeing, less than 5% of the market. But at this spread, at these percentages, what do you feel about this game?
It's less what I feel about this game and what I feel about the Super Bowl in general. Like, I'm going to take the Bengals. I'm going to take +4. But this is just a contest pick. I don't have, this has got to be the sharpest line theoretically every year is the Super Bowl. You have the most information, you have the most market factors, and you have the narrowest view. Like, coming up with this line that's your main focus. It's the biggest market of the year. Now, you do say it's 200,000 bets. That's just on what we track, like you mentioned. How many people are betting this around the world even? Millions of people.
Millions. So a lot more than data that we get our hands on, unfortunately.
Absolutely. But that's everybody, right? Because it's, Peter and Frank betting down at the bar. And that's what this I guess this show is largely going to focus on is like juice aversion. Yeah, for props and smaller market stuff. Yeah, you're going to have the sports book is definitely going to be the way to go. If you're looking at smaller niche type markets, but just kind of like the function of the sports book is more or less like I guess it solves an efficiency problem, right? Like the barter system has the same issue. Is you need double need of wants. You need someone to bet the same amount on the same game at the same price. Like, that's a lot to ask for, except in the Super Bowl. If you're betting the spread, if you're betting straight up money line, obviously you're going to want to use the odds as, I would suggest Pinnacle as a pricing guide. But by the way, when I do say that, just take if let's say the Rams what are the Rams at right now on the money line there, Big Rye?
-191 currently on the money line.
And the Bengals are?
+171.
There you go. You call it +180, -180. Bob's your uncle. So, I mean, unless you want to go 180.5 and really, really get out the, your coins, assuming you're only betting in the hundreds. Regardless, you should find a friend and bet if that's what you want to do. If you want to gamble on this game, you should find a friend or go to a bar or whatever you do, someone reasonably trustworthy, and just bet with them. No juice. It's actually, you know what? It's kind of American, isn't it? Really, it's like a rite of passage. I'm Greek. We're supposed to play cards in the new year. It's a weird gambling centric culture, but as far as American and even a Canadian for that matter, it's a thing. It's you know what I mean? So if you are betting, it's almost culturally relevant. So my suggestion this year is pick whatever side you like. Pick the side, as I like to say, that gives you the least amount of regret, assuming I'm not advocating for gambling, but if you do like either of these sides, just find someone else. This has got to be the one day of the year. I mean, you're going to have a Super Bowl party. And sorry, another segue. I don't understand how Super Monday isn't a national holiday in the United States. Like, what's the productivity level realistically? You know what I mean? It's probably like Seinfeld, people sleeping under their beds, and I don't blame them. So that being said, when you go to a party, come on, you got to find someone that can put a few $100s on an opposing side, or whatever unit you like choosing. So that's what an advocate is. We're gonna call it a no juice Super Bowl. That's from our end. That's my suggestion. So yeah,
I'll,
don't
I'll
pay the juice. Go ahead.
I'll throw in some stats here. So Cincinnati Bengals against the spread were technically tied with Dallas as the best team against the spread over this season. They finished 13. Well, they are currently 13-5-2 against the spread on opening lines. Conversely, the Rams, not too far behind. They're 11-8-1 on opening lines. And then, if I'm not mistaken, on closing lines, Cincinnati was 13-7. Buffalo was 10-10.
Sorry, you mean
the Rams? Sorry,
Rams.
I looked at Buffalo when I said that, but the Rams were 10-10. Yeah.
Now, what does that tell you? First of all, number one, you got 2 free pushes if you were to bet the opening versus the closing line on the Cincinnati Bengals, and you also had an improved record if you bet the Rams early rather than later. That being said, early line is usually better, except the Super Bowl. Super Bowl, these are very inelastic numbers. They have huge amounts of money already bet on them, even betting on open. You see very, very, very little movement in these types of markets because all the information is keyed in. The pulse is right on this game. It's not like let's think of something that's slightly irrelevant. A Houston Jacksonville game where a big mover and shaker, a couple of them can really influence the market. This can happen. There's just not how it works. So what I'm saying is closing lines are very, very hard to beat in the long run against the juice. And like you said, it was 10-10 for the Rams.
Yeah, 10-10 on closing lines for the Rams against the spread. So you can even see that 2 or 3 of those lines really, really did move enough to change the results if you bet them every game of the year.
And if you bet them every game of the year, you're going to lose 2.5% of what you bet roughly. So just think about that, right? So how can we avoid that? Yeah, it's 2.5%. It's not a lot of money, not a lot of money for entertainment, but why do it? So that's why, I hate juice. It's not that I hate the sports book. They do perform a function. You know what I mean? Like Joe Mixon over under on receptions. That's going to be that's a little bit harder at the party to go and ask, how does anyone feel about Joe Mixon's reception yards? Do you know what I mean? Anytime touchdown for CJ Uzoma, going to be a little bit difficult to get someone at a party to do it. They do serve a purpose, and that's why they offer commission, because they are taking a risk on that proposition, and they are taking a risk on the price they set of that proposition in relation to the true probability, which is always unknown at the end of the day. But they are getting pretty close at it, and with that gap, they allow for a large margin to be wrong in. So this is just going to be a Bengals pick. This is going to be a no juice Bengals pick. I might consider it. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's very culturally relevant to do so. So where I'm at the Super Bowl, I'll probably just take the Bengals, and we'll call it flip a coin betting, which 0 EV probably, I would say, on Bengals +4. I could handicap the game, give you any which reason, but is there any reason you're going to listen to? I would imagine a lot of shows, not just this one. Are they going to offer some compounding fact that is not baked into the line? Aaron Donald's good. We know that. That's why the Rams are favored by 4. The Rams are at home. Another amazing thing. Makes conspiracy theorists, point things out. There's got to be one of them. You're going to go with, did you see Tampa Bay? Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. Now we're at SoFi. And what a send-off, too. Conveniently, the Rams are in the Super Bowl. I guess they could have engineered the Chargers making a run as well, right? But regardless, this is the time where you're going to hear on talk shows just arguments, and those arguments are already manifested in these numbers. You can say whatever you want in the comments. I'm not sure that this is beatable in a long-term application, considering the juice that's involved, especially 11/10 or -110. So this is going to be a Cincinnati Bengals pick, and at wherever I choose to go, I will be probably taking the Bengals purely out of we'll call it North American tradition. So Bengals +4.
So traditionally, we do picks against the spread, but if you had to bet the Bengals in real life, would you be more likely to take them against the spread or on the money line?
Great question. And I've answered this before, and thank you for pulling that one out. I would be more likely to take it on the money line because I feel your equity is realized better. I think the number 4 is weaker than the.
Then 3, 6, 7.
Yeah, then 4 to 5.5. The money line, the congruent money line to it, I don't think reflects the true equity because I think the 4 to 5.5 are just way weaker numbers now. So I'd rather add the 0.5% in taking the high variance play on the Bengals plus 180. If I had a serious cash flow problem and I had to bet, so I can't even think. I'm at my last $10 and someone has a gun in my face, then I'm gonna take Cincinnati plus 4 instead of plus 180. But that might be the only case, And that's something I never understood is when people go like, "Oh, the variance is too high." Well, we can bet less. Like no, like you can bet less, right? Unless your unit sizing is $1, like that's like probably the only argument. And if your unit sizing is $1, save for that Campbell's soup, bro.
Yeah, the one thing I'll add to is as far as the percentage of money that's been bet on both sides, as far as spread goes, people are more likely to take the Rams as far as the money is showing. And on the money line, though, it's what we've just talked about. People are more likely to take the Bengals on the money line just based off the money percentages early on for this as well. Just to throw in the tidbit that there has been more money placed on the under than the over at this time. But still, we're like we're at like 5% of the market right now. So it's still way too early to be like, oh, these are definite things that are gonna continue. But who knows? Maybe we'll put out a couple more videos just talking about what the market looks like for this game. Other than that fact, I think we've kind of covered everything. The lightning round, LA Rams versus Cincy in the Super Bowl.
The Cincinnati Bengals plus 4 points in a no juice affair at SoFi Stadium.
And currently, if you were wanting to bet at a book, Pinnacle plus 4 minus 103. So it's still slightly negative EV play according to Fat Guy's handicapping. Yep. But the whole point is find a friend, make a play together, and enjoy the game. And congratulations to Satuple for going 9-3 against the spread so far in the playoffs. There was a bunch of people that went 2-0 this week, including Satuple. There's a few and another person as well, 9-3. But Satuple picked 41 points for the LA Rams San Fran game. It finished at 37, so he's closest to the pin. And as a little kudos to Satuple, I think he took the Triple Crown today. I think he took the weekly win. He's got the playoff lead, and he, if I'm not mistaken, might have the JS715 name of the week. But congratulations to Satuple, 9-3. Not Carnival personnel as well at 9-3. We got a handful of people at 8-4. Cash only, no checks at 7-5. You can see us and Laser Jets as well as Billy369 with 6 wins. Ourselves and Laser Jets at 50%. And then Fat Guy under the JS75 name of the week, honorable mentions.
BRFG fan club president. There has to be one. Thank you. Erectile dysfunction via Bills elimination. Buffalo forgot to pay their bills, so Mahomes made them pay. All right. Dear Brittany, don't worry, we know who it is, Mahomes. Act like you've been there before. I think Jackson could take some of that advice as well. Try mixing it up with the Chiefs and get sent Mahomes. All right. Convoy rocking in the free world. Very interesting. Didn't win name of the week for certain reasons, but definitely topical. Tom Elo, you can't always be right. What am I going to do on Sunday next week? Watch the Pro Bowl? Definitely not an admission for that.
This is the JS715 name of the week. Whoa, kaboom!
Defense wins games, but not this weekend. I guess kind of the Bengals defense did, Just it was a little bit of a sleeper for me, Fat Guy had some we'll call it post celebration malaise. Wasn't my best Sunday, let's put it that way.
And remember, guys, you can make your pick against the spread for Super Bowl 56 at BigRyanTheFatGuy.com as well. There'll be a link in the description below. But that's it. That's the LA Rams, Cincinnati Bengals. Kind of a surprise for both of these teams, really. I think they're both 4 seeds. I can't remember the last time 2 4 seeds made it in. I remember the Steelers as like 6 or 7 seeds. a few years back, and now I'm really dating myself, but it's nice to see, maybe not just the Chiefs and Packers in like everyone expected.
Yeah, it's a nice change though. Like, it's hard not to root for the Bengals, right? Just because they've never won. I think this is the second time they've been to the Super Bowl. I guess the last time would have been against Joe Montana and the 49ers, and that didn't work out. But they have a reasonable chance, right? Like, you kind of like that. It's even if they are I guess a 4 seed is an underdog, but this as a franchise is an underdog story. I mean, this is probably the lowest valued franchise in the NFL, I would say. They definitely have the owner with the most shallow pockets, and I always feel like this team doesn't really get the financial investment that other teams had. But I mean, that is kind of the beauty of the cap situation. I'm generally just like a bullish capitalist, but I think in sports it kind of works well. That is one of the allures of soccer, though. European football is when like a team with $2 billion in player spending gets beaten by a team with 50 million in player spending. There's something, I don't know. There's something magical about that, right? Or international soccer. I would say the same thing. Bigger countries with more investment, but as far as the NFL goes, this is really an underdog story with the Bengals. I mean, the team is good, and the cap has aided them in staying competitive, right? And obviously, 2 drafts. You get Joe Burrow with the first overall pick, which is looking absolutely fantastic, and in a rare occurrence, Jamar Chase is actually being worth his salt as a 5th overall pick at wide receiver. Do you think that's interesting, Big Rye?
I think it's very interesting. Especially, it's just historically, it hasn't been good to draft receivers this early. But what I want to change the attention and talk about this before we sign out is the how young the coaches are in this game. Sean McVay and Zach Taylor, and I really want to focus on Zach Taylor because we had people throughout the year come to us in our Discord, in the YouTube comments, in real life, and talk about like Zach Taylor specifically on like he shouldn't be there. I think he was one of the coaches that was like had fairly high odds to be fired during the season, and now the guy is in a Super Bowl. Do you want to talk about Zach Taylor at all?
Well, this is like one of those things where I would say he's had run good, like, and run bad. Like when he first joined the Bengals in that first game against the Seahawks, they lost, but it was very, very close and competitive.
We were impressed.
We were very impressed, right? But that season really got away from them and it fell apart, and they went 2-14. AJ Green wouldn't even participate. I mean, who's got egg on their face now, AJ? You know what I mean? But that being said, like, and there's a lot of bad reports too. Like, the one thing about the NFL is because of there's such a small amount of games, especially in the playoffs, it's one and done. Your record, which hinges on a lot of like very micro probabilities that could go your way or against you, you kind of get blame or praise that is unprecedented. Like kind of like Mike McCarthy doing like I would call a below average job. He got the results. So like if they happen to beat San Francisco, do you know what I mean? And win, if they come to the Super Bowl, they're talking about how good of a coach he is, right? When in reality, it's just probabilities, playing themselves out, right? Like there's a chance. It's football, right? It's even okay. Say someone has a 80% chance at scoring a touchdown on a drive. Another team has a 20. The 20% could come in 3 times in a row, and the 80% could come in 0. There you go, 21-0. It's unlikely, but it does happen. But the point of the matter is, what Big Rye's getting at is that it's more likely that the younger coaching is a trend in the right direction. I wouldn't say these are the most analytically forward coaches, but there is some elements to what they do that is at least closer to the cutting edge, like offensively, I would say. And like even Cincinnati has been pretty aggressive most of the year. And Cincinnati too is kind of battle tested. Both of these are the 2 best divisions in football. Cincinnati, sharing division with Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cleveland. I would say that's the 2nd best division, only bested by the Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks, and Niners. And clearly, look, the Niners going all the way to the conference championship as well. So I think this is the trend. I'm curious to see though, like I don't like these coaches as much as I like Frank Reich would be in my top tier, even Kevin Stefanski on the Browns, and I think Brandon Staley is almost too aggressive. But I prefer guys that will take chances over necessarily, as we'll say, prepared coaches, because like strategically, I don't think arguing about Bill Belichick being the best in the league there's any sort of argument to not say he's the absolute best at that, and having like team preparedness maybe. But as far as like making choices about aggression, he's definitely not there. So I think it's trending in that direction, and I think that's where the hiring is going to go, and I think it's good for football. It's good. You want to see game theory optimal performances, and I think this is a nice step in that direction. Not that these are the most optimal of coaches.
Well, thank you guys for watching, and good luck for your pick against the spread in Super Bowl 56.